Metal Gear Solid 5 is like a shagohod. On the outside it looks pretty cool and it drives like a dream, but on the inside it reveals a blonde Mardy twat who spat out his dummy for revenge because he thinks everyone hates him and he thinks he's cool. I say it's like a shagohod, but Konami ripped out the seats, and the wheels, and the engine, and the driver. They sold an almost complete product and told the main developer to piss off because pachinko machines are so much cooler than a medium which allows its users to become fully immersed in a fictitious world with a great story while placing their trust in the ones publishing it. It really hurts my naked snake.
Treat us like a damn fiddle!
Now that's not to say Metal Gear Solid 5 is a bad game. In fact, it's one of the best games of 2015 and certainly is one of my top Metal Gear Solid games altogether. However, when playing for the story, it's more than obvious, especially to Metal Gear Solid fans, that it's been watered down. A lot. I mean, we're talking Niagara Falls. If Niagara Falls had the ability to remove entire segments of a game only to interfere with the story and place it with the same mission, changing practically nothing but the direction a single barrel is facing in.
Oh, but Jack, those missions are more difficult.
Yes, they are more difficult, but it makes the player want to slowly fall into a coma, only to dream about nothing but skulls entering their arsehole. These missions serve no purpose but as filler before receiving a final mission, which has actually already been played earlier on in the game. No spoilers, but the final cutscene twist actually did get to me. Even though it was hinted at halfway through the game, I honestly didn't see it coming. Where are the rest of the cutscenes? The cinematography, the acting, the cast, they are all amazing parts of the entire game. It really is a shame that Konami ended up removing entire segments and leaving these integral parts of the game out. I've always enjoyed Metal Gear Solid cutscenes, no matter how many or how long or how many people complain about them. But since it's the first game to actually have less of an emphasis on cutscenes, it kind of feels as though Metal Gear Solid fans are losing out on the full story that 5 could have given us. Gameplay in the Phantom Pain is amazing. It's honestly one of the best stealth games available and serves 2 target audiences at the same time: stealth lovers and action lovers. It allows players to either completely be a dick and kill the living shit out of everything that moves, or play the pacifist and non-lethally take down characters with CQC or tranquilizers. The cover system is dynamic and fluid, weather effects, visibility and stealth options, boxes can be used to slide down hills, you can be shat on by a horse, there are tons of side missions, loads of Easter eggs, and multiple ways to tackle any situation and more. It's one of the best feeling Metal Gear Solid games in my opinion. On the other hand, there is a slight repetitive nature to the open world where certain areas feel a little too empty at times. There could have been a small town or a city to sneak around, but it might have been a little hard to implement in the middle of fucking nowhere. To say Metal Gear Solid is one of the most confusing storylines in a video game, once you get the hang of it, it's actually not that difficult to understand. However, if 5 is your first Metal Gear Solid, then you might not fully understand this, or that, or them, or maybe even him. But even if that is true, Kojima did a really good job at letting completely new players feel at home and giving them a grasp at what really is going on at the surface of all those details, especially with the addition of ground zeros and cassette tapes. Cassette tapes are optional electronic storybooks found in-game that feel as though they were originally supposed to be cutscenes. However, with the story less emphasized and a larger focus on gameplay, it allows players to listen to their finer details at their leisure. Quiet is a character that utilizes photosynthesis in order to live, for spoiler reasons. Her chosen outfit has been the topic of controversy and has come to question the image of females in video games for many people. However, Kojima has a record for showing that he isn't shy of the human body and he isn't partial to showing just a single sex in this way. It wasn't designed with the intent to personally attack the female sex. In fact, in previous Metal Gear Solid games, Kojima has expressed male characters with slightly homoerotic themes. Unfortunately, this doesn't stop other female characters in Metal Gear Solid games from being over-sexualized as well. While Quiet's outfit is ridiculous, and she looks so much cooler with clothed outfits on, she is not the only character or sex to be portrayed in an overly sexy way in a Metal Gear game. At the same time, it still doesn't excuse the way Quiet specifically is portrayed, although she does make my naked snake a big boss. I'll leave. I'm gonna leave. I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave. Speaking of characters, some hardly had anything to do with the game at all, which really pisses me off because they were the big cheese. the game would have benefited from implementing these characters more into the game's story. However, someone deemed it necessary to remove all the important parts from the game and get more or less the entire gaming industry on their backs. While not counting Metal Gear Online, the online portion of the game has players invade other players' forwarding operating bases in order to gain resources, equipment, and even staff members. If players manage to cough up 150,000 heroism, they can invade players with nukes and attempt to steal them in order to dispose of them, or be absolute knob jockeys and use them for their own purposes. If all of the nukes in the world have been destroyed, a hidden cutscene will unlock for everyone to enjoy. That being said, even as this review is being made, and taking into account how late it is, this is yet to be accomplished. The main downside to FOB missions is not only can they be as hard as taking a shit after eating half a dozen loaves of bread, it can sometimes be more than impossible to remain hidden and camouflaged. Although this would be highly realistic on a base that is mainly flat, and in the middle of the ocean. In my experience, tackling some of the more advanced bases online would be almost impossible without the use of reflex mode, of which you can't turn on during an FOB mission if you forgot to turn it back on after playing a single player mission like a hardcore snake. Overall, Metal Gear Solid 5, while having some major story flaws and most of the planned important content removed from the game due to twattery, it still proceeds to be a brilliant and well crafted experience. Not only does it have amazing gameplay, allows entry for new players, and receive a decent place in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, but it also won itself a spot in a goddamn casino with the rest of Konami's prisoners. But, as a god once said, fuck Konami.